Yeah, so I welcome you back to the second half of Chelsea versus Aston Villa, and as it stands, it's Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0, and we go away to the Stamford Bridge to bring you the rest. So now there's a substitution going on. Aston Villa are doing a substitution, and guess who is coming off the pitch? Now, Leon Bailey is on. Leon Bailey is on the pitch. He coming in on for. So if you so still ball clean syndrome is a nice through. Hey, Havertz couldn't deal with the through that Alonso gives a big boot and it goes over the line for throw in. Marcos Alonso doing a big clearance. It's Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. It's Aston Villa with the ball. They've thrown it back to their goalkeeper. Steer gives it to Mings. Mings picks a big boot and Thiago Silva clears it. It looks like Saul Niguez has been taken off for Jorginho. So the second half, Jorginho is placing and Danny Ings, number 20 man, deadly, dangerous Aston Villa striker in that particular fold. And Chaluba doing playing his second game. Remember, he scored in his debut game. So Ziyech, beautiful cross. Could this be a third goal? No. Goalkeeper still comes out. Havertz, the German Havertz, was a bit slow. Havertz was a bit slow. He couldn't go for it. Chelsea's midfield are really beginning to click with the inclusion uh, of Jorginho. Now, could this be a third goal? No. Havertz has been disposed of the ball and it's given to goalkeeper Stier. Stier plays it back to the defense of Aston Villa. They are playing cautiously back to goalkeeper Stier. He nearly slipped and he gives a crucial one uh, to McGinn. McGinn uh, pushes the ball, pushes the ball. The left back trying to make way, but Chaluba covers that line. Still, what kick? And they're not giving Aston Villa a chance at all. They're not giving Aston Villa a chance at all. It's right back now. Chaluba dispossesses him off. Kovacic dribbles one, gives it to Lukaku. Oh, Lukaku maintains the ball in the midfield. Back to Kovacic. Kovacic moves forward. Kovacic to Lukaku moving into empty space. And no, the pass intended for Alonso has been decapitated. So now it's Aston Villa who are now surging forward. They are playing the ball coolly in the midfield. Can they initiate an attack on their own? It's time for Aston Villa's attack. Now, Aston Villa on the right hand. Can he dribble Rudiger? He goes through Rudiger, but Rudiger blocks the ball and Jorginho comes back to defend. Thiago Silva move and a long shot from him, and it doesn't work. Aston Villa are doing all that they ought to do, and that long shot took a deflection. It's a corner. Was being brought in, long drive inside, and Thiago Silva kicks it. It's a throw-in to Aston Villa. Thiago Silva pushes it. It's a throw-in to Aston Villa in that particular folder. Chelsea is really playing their hearts out. Thiago Silva is at the heart of defense, organizing his defenders. You know, his experience, he's taking backs. Interestingly, he's dyed his hair together with Jordan. I don't know if it was a plan for them both to do so. And it's an Aston Villa throw. What can Aston Villa do with this particular throw-in? So it's a long one inside, and Havertz kicks it out. Unfortunately, this year's ball comes back. Hudson Odoi moves, controls the ball, moves forward, paces right. He breaks down a bit. Hudson, what can he do? Is he going low? He gives a cross, but it's being blocked. And Marcos Alonso comes in to support Marcos Alonso with the ball. And Bailey wouldn't. Bailey, Bailey, nice one over there, and he's been tripped. Bailey has been tripped by Marcos Alonso, and obviously, this is a yellow card. He held him and brought him down. That was a needless tackle by Marcos Alonso, the captain of the day. It was a needless tackle. He couldn't go past Bailey, and Bailey, but it's a corner kick. I don't know if the referee saw that, but unfortunately, Alonso didn't do well in that particular that bringing down Bailey. Marcos Alonso has been booked. He's the first Chelsea player to be booked, and this is his first yellow card for the season. This is his first yellow card for the season. 60 minutes of play, Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Stia hits it big. Rudiger heads it to Alonso. Alonso to Ziyech, but it doesn't go through Havertz, but he couldn't also take the ball back to the defense of Aston Villa has been given to Minks. Minks has been a hard turn for Chelsea and the back end for Lukaku as well. They are moving forward. It's McGinn. McGinn, what can he do? He gives it to the number three, the left back, and you find each time two Chelsea players attacking, and it's on the right hand side, and you find it was a good cross, but of course straight into the arms of goalkeeper Edward Mendy. Edward Mendy looking for who to give the ball to. Watkins in front of him wearing the number 11 jersey. Watkins in front of him wearing the number 11 jersey. Chaluba with the ball. Chaluba, young chap there, and he's been doing fantastic. Now, it looks as if he's been asked to go back, and that pass he was given to Hudson-Odoi didn't go through in, in the game. And Aston Villa also with the ball 62 minutes. It's Minks. He's both left and right. He kicks it hard straight into the arms of goalkeeper Edward Mendy. Edward Mendy gives it to Rudiger. Rudiger on the ball. He searches for Jorginho. Jorginho gets the ball, turns back, turns inside again, gives it to his compatriot Kovacic. Kovacic back to Rudiger. Rudiger to Silva. Silva cooling the ball down, and that's what Tuchel wants him to do. He gives it to Kovacic. Kovacic of the ball back to Havertz. Havertz gives it back to Kovacic. Kovacic to Alonso. Alonso back to Kovacic. Kovacic gives it to Jorginho. Jorginho gives it back to Alonso. Alonso back to Kovacic. Kovacic gives it to Havertz. Havertz turns in, gives it back to Kovacic. Kovacic gives that begging ball. Lukaku turns inside, and can Kovacic do anything? It's Ziyech. Can he play the shot? And Hudson-Odoi gives a cross, and they nearly made it three. No, that's a brilliant clearance, and the referee says it's an offside. Referee says it's an offside. Referee says Lukaku was offside, but Lukaku was never offside. He gave the pass back to Kovacic. Kovacic moved in, and I don't know what the assistant referee saw and gave the exact the offside. 20 20 on the ground, 20 on the ground, and Aspilicueta is coming in. Whom is he going to take off? Aspilicueta has been uh, comes on for Kai Havertz. So this gives room for the back three still to remain. Aspilicueta pushing in into that midfield row and giving the crosses that he's supposed to do. Aspilicueta will be so that I think this gives Hudson-Odoi the opportunity to set forward. Yes, was Aspilicueta then takes place of the right wing back, and then as Odoi with his fanciful haircut takes place. And well, we are hoping that the armband is given back to Aspilicueta. So 20 back to Minks. Minks these long balls are not working for Aston Villa. 64 minutes. Anytime they launch onto these long balls straight into the hands of goalkeeper Edward Mendy, who brings it into his 18-yard box, takes his time, gives a pass to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva also taking his time. He moves on. He has given it to, and it's a long ball to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi wearing number 20 shirt. He has the ball. What can he do? He's going to dribbles one, dribbles two. He's going to give a pass, and yes, he gives it to uh, one of the and he hits the ball back into Chelsea. Kovacic gives a long cross, and no, Kovacic's Keller didn't work well. Kovacic's Keller didn't work well. I was trying to bend it over, but it didn't work well. Ziyech initiating the attack. He hits the ball, and Bailey blocks it, and so it's a throw into Chelsea again. Chelsea on the ball. Marcos Alonso, captain for the day, searching frantically for whom to give it to. So he gives it to Ziyech. Ziyech, a back pass, takes it again, gives it to Odoi, but Bailey is there to block that pass. He pushes Odoi off the ball. Kovacic, beautiful pass to Ziyech, and Ziyech is unable to find Lukaku. Lukaku tells him to rest as he moves forward. He goes onto the ball. Bailey gives it back to goalkeeper Steer. Steer, long one to Minks, and Minks is unable to deal with it, and he gives a long clearance again. And this time he blocks it to Taluba, gives it to Aspilicueta. Aspilicueta playing back, gives it to Lukaku, but Mings has the ball. Mings gives it back to his goalkeeper, Steer. What can Steer do? He gives it back to Bailey. Bailey to Mings. Mings on the ball. Boom. Long ball again. And Chaliba blocks it to Aspilicueta. Aspilicueta to Kovacic. Sorry, Jorginho. Uh, Aspilicueta has the ball. Jorginho gets it back. Still Aston Villa with the ball. Aston Villa with the ball. Bailey. Bailey tries to dribble Kovacic. Oh, sorry, that's Konsa. And Kovacic takes the ball from Konsa, motion to the ball, and it's a beautiful pass, but Minks blocks it. Minks blocks it, gives it to the left back, and back to McGivern. McGivern, long cross into Watkins. What can Watkins do? Watkins gives it to Bailey. Bailey tries to dribble Rudiger. Rudiger and Bailey. Bailey dribbles Rudiger. Is he going to give a cross or is he going to give a pass? Well, that pass he gives doesn't go well. It's come out to Twantivi. Twantivi to Minks. Minks back to Twantivi. Twantivi to McGivern. McGivern back to Minks. Minks takes his time. Gives a long one back to Minks. Searches for whom to give it to. He gives it to Trantivi. Trantivi and Minks having a good partnership, and McGivern in that space. A beautiful ball, but Jorginho blocks it, gives it to Hachinodo to initiate another attack. Hachinodo takes it back, and his pass to Aspilicueta doesn't work out well. Tuchel is furious as the ball goes back into touch, and Aston Villa is going to make another uh, substitution. Is number 20 out for number 15. Number 20 out for number 15, and is number 20 dangerous man Danny Ings out and Traore in. Another dangerous player. Danny Ings is out and Traore, the Senegalese, is in. Bertrand Traore, the Senegalese, is in, and Danny Ings, the English star, is out. Traore calling for the ball. He's been given to Traore, but his first start doesn't go well. Goes back to Aspilicueta, who blocks it. Traore is still again with the ball. He turns Aspilicueta. Aspilicueta dribbles Traore. What was Traore trying to do? But Chaluba brings in. Chaluba stops the ball, and this is wickedness. How can you just nip uh, your knee into the thighs of Chaluba, and Chaluba has held his thighs? He should be given a card for this. I feel strongly so because he's hurt Chaluba. Chaluba is limping. Chaluba is limping. Any injury here is going to be a hard one for Thomas Tuchel. Any injury here is going to be a hard one for Thomas Tuchel. So Thiago Silva with the ball gives it to Jorginho Chaluba. His ball doesn't go through, and Traore takes the ball. Uh, doesn't go through. He's been guarded. The ball has been guarded, and referee says it's an infringement. It's an infringement for Chaluba, who has been brought down by Bailey. So as Aspilicueta goes for the ball, stands behind the ball. You know, slow but sure, Chelsea are really doing the necessary things, getting the ball into the 18. But of course, Minks is trying to be a thorn in their flesh. So to Kovacic to Rudiger. Rudiger Will he give it to Alonso? Alonso on the left hand side of attack. Alonso cuts in, still with the ball. Gives it to Kovacic. Kovacic turns, gives it to Alonso. Alonso to Jorginho. Jorginho opening up for spaces. Gives it to Silva. Silva to Kovacic. Kovacic again. Back to Silva. Silva moving forward. Silva surging. Silva gives the ball to Kovacic. Kovacic. What is he going to do? Searches for Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi is still on the ball. He doesn't go forward. He gives it back to Kovacic. Kovacic still with the ball. Gives it to uh, Jorginho. Jorginho with the ball. Turns in, gives it back to Kovacic. These two are really playing beautiful football. 71 minutes of play, and it's Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0 in that particular score. And it's a counter attack for Aston Villa as they step forward, but unfortunately, things didn't go through as they are expecting to for it to be, and it's still Aston Villa who are down by 2 goals to nil, playing against Chelsea. Aston Villa playing against Chelsea, and that particular fold, it's a game, it's a game on, and well, Chelsea moving on 72 minutes of play. Kovacic moves with the ball, gives it to uh, Traore. Traore since coming in has been indulging himself in a lot of unnecessary fouls, and that could be detrimental to them. But they win corner kick. It's not Aston Villa. It's a long kick, and it's been dealt with by goalkeeper Mendy. Mings came all the way from the defense to head the ball, but goalkeeper Edward Mendy deals with it. It's at Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. 73 minutes of play. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Chelsea are now on the attack. Ziyech in a true ball, but goalkeeper Steer comes for it. What a save from Steer. What a beautiful save from Steer. Else Chelsea would have had their third goal. Chelsea would have had their third goal coming in that particular spot. Now it's Aston Villa who are doing the attack, Aston moving on with the ball, but Bailey brings down Marcos Alonso and Aston Villa. Edward Mimi gives it to Chaluba. Chaluba moving with the ball, gives it to Aspliqueta. Aspliqueta back to Jorginho. Jorginho to Aspliqueta. Back to Edward Mendy in his goal post. Edward Mendy gives it to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva moving with the ball. He's taking his time now, searching for who to pass to. He gives it to Kovacic. Kovacic gives it to Odoi. Odoi back to Alonso. Alonso turns in, gives it to Jorginho. Jorginho dance with the ball, gives it to Kovacic. Kovacic back to Chaluba. Chaluba to Rudiger. And Rudiger to Jorginho. Back to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva in there, still surging forward with the ball. He gives it to that killer pass. Lukaku turns in, turns is still looking for Chaluba. Otherwise, shot is blocked. Alonso, and it's a goal. No, Alonso shot just strikes past the goalpost. Alonso shot just moves, glides past the goalpost. Unfortunate, unfortunate. Alonso would have given Chelsea the third goal after the short ricochet of the defenders of Aston Villa. Alonso had a nice chance, but the shot once goes for wide. It's 75 minutes of play. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Steer hits a long one inside to the Chelsea defense, but Thiago Silva deals with it to Kovacic. Kovacic gives it to Jorginho. Jorginho gives it to Ziyech. Ziyech with the ball gives it to Jorginho again. Jorginho back to Ziyech. Ziyech to Alonso. Alonso to Kovacic. Kovacic to Rudiger. Rudiger back to Alonso. Alonso back to Jorginho. Jorginho is keeping the ball calmly. He gives it back to Rudiger. Rudiger gives it back to Chaluba. Chaluba moves forward. He dribbles one, dribbles two, continuing the counter attack. Gives it to Lukaku. What can Lukaku do? And Minks is able to stop the ball. He stops Lukaku from moving to now. Aston Villa starts their own. Traore on the left, Traore, and he gives it to Bailey. Unfortunately, Alonso deals with that. Alonso clears it hugely, and it's a throw-in to Aston Villa. As an Aston Villa throw-in, it's Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Aston Villa bench are not happy with how their players are playing. Aston Villa absolutely hard to side and out uh, easily as that. It's a long one. And could this be a goal for them? Chaluba blocks the ball. Chaluba is quick to clear the ball. Chaluba is quickly cleared the ball. A nice ball from Bailey, but Chaluba deals with it. It's a corner to Aston Villa. Aston Villa takes a short one. Back to Bailey. Bailey McGivern. And it's another corner again. McGivern behind the ball. A beautiful cross in there. And what can this do? Can they score one goal? And straight into the hands of Edward Mendy. Good cross, but Edward Mendy is up to the task. He punches it down and takes it again. Because he was impeded by Mings. So Chelsea starting the ball from the back. That dangerous play back to Mendy. Mendy hits a long one to Hudson Odoi gives it back to Kovacic. Kovacic to Ziyech. Ziyech to Lukaku. What can Lukaku do? And referee says it's an offside. It's an offside against Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's an offside against Callum Hudson-Odoi. Can Aston Villa stage one of the greatest comeback in the history of football, or is going to be an old Chelsea win? Can Aston Villa stage a comeback, or is going to be an old Chelsea win? Barely 10 minutes for us to go. What can Aston Villa do in this regard? Okay, so Aston Villa back in their position. Okay, they move forward. And Aston Villa, who were pressing earlier on, seem to be lackluster. They are getting flat-footed in the last of the 18. Can this be an close of Aston Villa? And Mendy comes for it. But still, Aston Villa is pushing Traore. Traore gives it a nice kill and straight into the hands of Edward Mendy, who makes no mistakes with that. He just lies down quietly, lies down quietly. That was a good shot, that wouldn't trouble keeper Edward Mendy, the UEFA keeper of the year last season, winning it with Chelsea. Aspilicueta in the midfield gives it to Chaluba. Chaluba, Silva, Silva to Rudiger, Rudiger to Alonso. Alonso to Jorginho, Jorginho. What a beautiful shot, and no, nothing works. That was a good shot from the Moroccan forward. It was a great shot from the Moroccan forward. And Hudson Odoi will be sacrificed for Timo Werner. So the Englishman is going to be sacrificed for Timo Werner. Timo Werner in, Callum Hudson Odoi out. Timo Werner in, Callum Hudson Odoi out.
10 minutes for Timo Werner. John Terry, who last time Aston Villa came here and got a 1-1 draw, was in the Aston Villa dugout that was part of Dean Smith's reshuffle. John Terry, it's actually his decision to leave, but so now he's on a watching brief from a slightly comfier seat. By target. There's a foul on McGinn, which may lead to a yellow card. Leads to an effort on goal from Mings. We're off target. The little deflection was spotted by Stuart Atwell, so Villa will have another corner. Chalobah. Is it going to escape justice here, I wonder?
Well, all is not lost just yet for Villa. A few of those efforts that have been deflected, the Chelsea player just got something on it. It's time to Jorginho.
That's the challenge we thought would lead to a yellow card, but so far it's not forthcoming from Stuart Atwell. John McGinn reminding him that it should have been brandished. Claws it away. Watkins back in. That hit Jorginho. Now Thiago Silva. Again, Villa knock, but there's no way through. So the near post. McGinn onto the left, driving wide.
He's so important to this Villa side now. We Jack Grealish gone. So much goes through him. Really talented player. As I said earlier, he looks fitter these days, a better athlete. He said so himself.
I think he's also said himself, hasn't he, that injury that he had pre lockdown, he came back a little too quickly from that. It's taken him a while to get back to his best, but that is close to where he is now. This one looks like it's slipping away for Aston Villa, but much excitement about the shape of the side next week, assuming everyone's available, along with some Watkins and all the other pieces that have been assembled last year or so as Villa shape themselves to challenge at the right end of the Premier League table.
That's right.
So it's down here,
It's going to move.
low to the back of the head. There's a reason why.
Yes.
Well, it's that time in the match. He's not going to get up too quickly.
Oh, man, 7 now.
He started it off, didn't he? Lukaku.
6-14.
He's a cold-blooded killer, this lad. He's going to get plenty more like this season.
Real nice.
Mings will not want to see that too often. Kovacic will, though. Very nice indeed.
It's just his second Premier League goal, Mateo Kovacic, and the first since he scored at Goodison. That was in December 2019. His only other one came in the Champions League, almost the same week actually as that Everton one away against Valencia. Werner all over for Conte. Watkins nearly opened it up for Traore.
Obi debut car or share too. What's in the American?
help of Cash. Rudiger diverts it out for a throw. Villa still having a go in the last 3 minutes now. Helped on by Konsa as Lukaku with a very telling touch there.
Really tricky test given by Aston Villa here. It looks like Chelsea are going to get all the 3 points and retain a clean sheet. They can move on.
So the only blip on Chelsea's start to the season, 4 games in, is the drop points at Anfield, and I think it's points dropped. It's probably a point gain given the scenario there. 3 wins out of 4 at the start of the season. Just the 1 goal conceded, despite Aston Villa's best efforts. 90 seconds of the 90 minutes left, Alan. I think you could probably say Chelsea are almost there now, so I'll ask you for your man of the match.
Yeah, he's a bit of an unsung hero, isn't he, Kovacic? But a superb pass for Lukaku's goal, then he got a lovely effort for the second. Really, really good performance in the middle of the park.
And he got the most touches and the most passes for Chelsea today. The joint top number of goals for Chelsea today. They talk about players being in the red zone. Well, he played 3 games for Croatia, Russia, Slovakia and Slovenia. And the lion's share of most of those. 90 against Russia. Stuart Atwell is going to have to show a yellow card there.
Tuna.
He's going to get one. That target's got one as well for complaining. He's kind of dove in, but got the ball again. The kind of challenge that refs do not like. Studs showing slightly as clean as the challenge is on the ball. Deemed a dangerous one.
So we can't put him again. As we enter 4 minutes of added time and 1 for target for his protestations. Well, the obvious comparison for what Chelsea have had to get through here is the West Bromwich Albion game. It's the last time that there was an international window where all the players were travelling off or not travelling off for 3 matches in the space of whatever 10 days, give or take. Quite often see some unpredictabilities, some surprises, and there was certainly a bit of that in the air at stages in the first half. Chelsea steadied the ship. They got the job done, and ultimately, I think that's probably what today was about.
He's got to go on Jorginho, doing it pretty slowly.
The 4 added minutes is closer to 5, maybe beyond. Alonso. Werner. Aspilicueta.
show the strength of the Premier League. Doesn't it? Why Aston Villa have attacked this match? The challenge they've given to Chelsea, European champions. Dave Smith really building something substantial at Villa Park. Used the Jack Grealish money really well.
Without two significant pieces of this jigsaw today because of the quarantine situation of the Argentinians. There's Lukaku seeking a second.
Kim Luka! Beautiful goal by all standards, and it's Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0. Beautiful goal by all standards, it's Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0. A nice assist from Aspilicueta and Romelu Lukaku. Hits the 90, hits the twine. 93 minutes, making it 3-0 against Aston Villa.
2 goals for the big fella. Could have enjoyed this right at the death of this match. Hasn't had too much service at all. It's been frustrating at times for him. What about that for a finish? What a finish! And putting the cap on a good, really good victory for Chelsea against a very capable Aston Villa team.
And he's made it 3 goals in 3
Second
games.
goal from Romelu Lukaku, the former Manchester United man, takes Chelsea level on goal difference with Manchester United at the top of the early Premier League table. Manchester United and Cristiano Ronaldo top courtesy of goals scored. This season is bubbling along very nicely in these early stages. McGinn, Traore.
Yeah, it wasn't a feeling like this, was it? But Chelsea won't care one bit, neither will he.
Well, Chelsea's top scorer, Alan, last season was Jorginho with 7, most of those from the penalty spot. Lukaku, 3 games in to his Chelsea Premier League career, already has 3.